Hello my friends, Stark here. Start date 2023.01.19. Subject matter is the replacement of the power steering return line upon a 2010 Buick Lucerne. This video will be particular to 2009, 2010, and 2011 Buick Lucerne cars. The power steering return line of the 2009 to 2011 Buick Lucerne alternates between steel and rubber sections. So the return line is partly tube and partly hose. It's also exceedingly long as it winds and wends its way from the power steering rack to the reservoir of the power steering pump. The return line begins as steel before quickly switching to a hose section which runs atop the left side of the front subframe. Using my long screwdriver, I can point to that hose. It then switches to a steel section atop the front cross member, loops around, continues in parallel with the front cross member, and then backward and parallel with the right side of the front subframe, and finally curves upward as a hose to the reservoir of the power steering pump. So why is the power steering return line so damn long? Why does it describe 3 sides of a square instead of 1? Well, my suspicion is that the designers wanted to double the functionality of the power steering return line, and by increasing the surface area, they allowed for it to act as a power steering cooler in addition to its primary function of being the power steering return line. So yes, I think that increase in length and thus increase in surface area facilitates the power steering return line also functioning as a power steering cooler. With so many steel sections, it's easy to comprehend how winter corrosion can cause rust in the power steering return line to the point where any one of the steel sections can be perforated by rust. And that's what's going on here. And in this case, it's just out of the gate. So this is close to the power steering rack itself. And the power steering fluid is dripping through the rust hole and then down from the back side of the left side of the front subframe. But one could imagine rust in any of the other steel sections of the power steering return line. It needn't have rusted in this particular location. Your car may have rusted in one of the other steel sections. This view is from under the car, rear of the engine, and you can see the power steering rack in the lower portion of the frame. It's very difficult to access the power steering return line as it emerges from the power steering rack. There are 3 principal obstacles The first is the sway bar or anti-roll bar, which is currently in front of the camera lens. The second is the fact that the power steering rack is mounted immediately above the rear cross member of the front subframe. And the third reason is that the power steering return line sits above the power steering input line, which means that from under the car, the power steering input line is in the way of the power steering return line. I can't point to it because I have my telephone held in my right hand and my LED light held in my left hand. But if you look carefully, you may be able to see an open-ended wrench on the nut of the power steering return line. It's in the center of the frame. I did my YouTube research upon this job, just as you are doing now by watching this video, and I appreciate that. I watched a video whereby the gentleman explained that he had achieved the job from under the vehicle by using a flare-type crow's foot mated with a ratchet bar. Well, I salute his patience because I honestly don't think that I would be able to achieve the job in that fashion. I think, however, I have found a better way to achieve the job. Remove the plastic engine cover. It is secured by 2 poppers and the oil filler cap. The oil filler cap is equipped with a chunky rubber O-ring, and thus it tends to grip tightly to the oil filler neck. Consequently, when you move to unscrew the oil filler cap, it is more likely that instead of separating the cap from the oil filler neck, you will in fact turn the neck out of the valve cover. It doesn't matter if that happens, because once the engine cover is removed, you have opportunity to separate those 2 components. There's the neck, no problem. This is my suggested solution to you. Working from within the engine bay, and in fact I'm kneeling on the engine itself, disconnect the 2 hoses which go to and from the heater matrix. These are a pain to remove because the steel side is double barbed, so those hoses are really on there. I've also removed the transmission dipstick from the transmission dipstick tube, and if we look downward toward the base of the steering column, you can see that I have an open-ended 18mm wrench on the nut of the power steering return line, and in fact I have already loosened that nut. So that power steering return line nut is accessible if you go in topside, and remember, if I can do it, you can do it. I've noticed that my camera is struggling to focus against the background of the concrete floor, so I apologize if any portions of this segment of the video are out of focus. Here's the power steering return line removed from the vehicle, and with the aid of a 12-inch ruler we can see truly how long this return line is. As I mentioned earlier, it is composed of alternating sections of steel tube and rubber hose. So if we begin at the point that the line connects to the power steering rack, we have a short section of steel tube, followed by a short section of rubber hose, and then steel tube, more rubber hose, a lengthy section of steel tube, and finally rubber hose. And this section connects to the reservoir of the power steering pump. As I said, the other end connects to the power steering rack. Here's the loop that we saw when the return line was still mounted to the vehicle. And I think the purpose of this loop is to give the power steering return line a little extra length, and therefore more time for the airflow through the grill to cool the power steering fluid. Recall that this section runs above the front cross member, which means that this loop is behind the radiator and condenser, which are in turn behind the front grille. Yesterday was Thursday, which makes today Friday, and I have some bad news here at the parts shop. Things don't always go to plan. The new power steering return line has been bent and kinked in transit, and given that today is Friday, I'll have to wait until Monday for a new line to be delivered to the parts shop. While we wait for the new power steering return line, I've taken the opportunity to fit a new tie rod end for the customer. Now Monday, and I have a good power steering return line in my possession. Don't forget to fit the little O-ring to the power steering rack connection point. I suggest that the O-ring should be fitted before the return line is snaked into position under the car, because to fit the O-ring afterward could be difficult. I'll dab that O-ring in some power steering fluid to keep it supple. The Buick is finished, and for the most part the job went well. I did have some trouble tightening the connection at the power steering rack because of the angle and the length of this 18mm open-ended wrench. I'll show you my solution. I selected a different double open-ended wrench. This one was a 16 and 18mm. I cut the wrench in half, rounded the corners, and thus I had an 18mm stubby wrench. This was perfect for tightening that connection between the power steering return line and the power steering rack. Don't forget to refill the power steering fluid reservoir and turn the steering 3 times from lock to lock in order to remove any air bubbles from the system. Lock left, lock right, lock left, lock right, lock left, and lock right. Ideally with the front wheels elevated from the floor. In my case, I didn't bother. We've had snow, so I turned the steering wheels outside on the snow where there is almost no friction, nothing to impair the operation of the power steering system. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. Take care. See you next time.